Hello, hi guys. Old art. Something that many of us look back to cringe at. And, well, that's one purpose for old art. Another purpose is to keep track of your progress, which brings me to this. An old sketchbook of mine, specifically this drawing. I cannot suggest this enough. Put a date on your artwork. Supposedly, this was done around a year and a half ago-ish. I actually did this at a friend's house, and she had the exact same sketchbook, so I just ripped it out and put it in my sketchbook. If she's watching this, I'm sure she remembers. But back then, this was honestly a phenomenal piece of artwork by my standards. Obviously now, it's a lot different, but that's why I'm going to redraw it. Oh yes, I know I've been lacking a lot of originality lately. This is why I'm also going to sort of redesign it a bit and reconfigure it in a different way where it's a bit more cohesive but also still has this crazy colorful element to it. Oh, and if you're wondering about this was a rough draft I did before, then I drew this. Also, let me know if you want an old sketchbook tour, because I could definitely do that, it'd just take a different video. First, to evaluate it, well, obviously, the anatomy's all off, and it's just not very cohesive. I don't know if there's a translucent thing going on, or what's going on with this, and also, it's just the colors. You know, they could be put differently, but also still put in some places to make it look crazy and sporadic. So that's how I'm going to adapt it. In the end, my goal is to use a bunch of really vibrant, bright colors, so hopefully I can do that. Okay, time to start with concept sketching. Oh, and just for a sort of timeline reference, before I had my old sketchbook, I would just do drawings on loose leaf paper, and then I got this sketchbook, so I started keeping my drawings together. Right about the start of quarantine, I got this sketchbook, and now I have this sketchbook. So far, 3 sort of cohesive sketchbooks. This one, not as cohesive as the rest, but yeah, time for concept sketching. Alrighty, voiceover time. So straight off the bat, it's clear to see that there's some sort of galactic theme going on. I really like that, so I went with that aspect. The pencil's really light, so it's a bit hard to see what's going on right now. But I did try to reconfigure her pose, almost like she was floating. Finished the concepts, and I'm having some really good ideas. So, time to start on the real sketch. That is after I do a bunch of homework. I feel like sometimes it's harder to start working on the real sketch because on the concept sketchings, everything's so loose. It doesn't matter if you mess up, and with this, it's just a bit more final. In other words, it's just a bit hard to loosen up and actually make the pose look like it's on the right scale, or it's just fluent enough. In the original drawing, she had a lollipop, and I thought that was cute, so I also incorporated it into my redraw. That's important to note because it's part of her pose. I am no pro at anatomy, so it did turn out slightly off, but it's definitely an improvement from the first drawing. As always, the face was bringing up some trouble. I think it was the fact that I had such a small space to work with, and that's what made it really challenging. But then again, sometimes I struggle with the face on a big scale. I guess it all depends. Time to line. A big downfall to messily sketching is that sometimes when you line, the lines aren't really perfect because you don't know which line you're trying to go over. Small things like those can really bug me when it comes to the final product. When a line is slightly off, it's so infuriating. I never really give too many of the names of the products I use, but just for reference, I was using a Pigma Micron and a Faber-Castell XS liner. Time to erase. Now, I'm not sure I'm satisfied with how the character isn't really taking up enough space on the page, but hopefully with color, I'll just forget about it. I didn't line or erase the background elements because I was a bit on the fence with those. It is the next day. Yesterday, when looking at the drawing, I didn't like the face, so I already had lined it though, so I cut the top layer of paper off with a craft knife. Exhibit A. The glasses were a cute idea, but I don't think they suit the character very well. Hopefully, redrawing the face will make it better this time. I just need to be careful because the paper is a bit weaker here. So, I'm going to go draw the rest of the face and get back to you. I actually didn't put the footage for that in because my head kept getting in the way. I mean, you gotta get the small face details somehow. Not the prettiest solution, but hey, it works. Maybe I will put in glasses when I'm done coloring everything else. I'll see then. I also messed up the planet rings, so just to let everyone know, that was unintentional. They look really weird. Alright, time to color. I did color the sketch digitally with Ibis paint. I do not think I will go with this color scheme, but it gives me a baseline to work off of. Mainly, I just really want to take advantage of the bright neon colors. Like always, I start with a really light base shade. This can also help indicate where the shadows go without going straight for them first. I wanted to try shading the face with pink a bit. I've seen numerous artists do it. It's a bit hard to see in the final product though. I had mentioned this before, but I didn't really know what was going on with the hair. So for this drawing, I settled with a nice gradient from darker teal and it gets lighter at the ends. Say if I color out of the lines or it just looks kind of messy, I usually end up fixing that in the end with a white gel pen, or I don't do anything because I feel like fixing it up might mess it up even more. Like always, I flip back and forth between my swatch page to make sure I'm getting the colors that would look best. I also wanted to do this drawing because I had a few really bright colors that I hadn't gotten to use yet, and I really wanted to use them. This drawing was the perfect opportunity to do that. I tried to make it look like there are wrinkles in the green jacket. I don't know how good I was with that because I still struggle with that sort of thing. The problem with having such bright colors is that it's difficult to find the right color to shade them. I did cautiously go over some of the places with different colors multiple times, and it was kind of a lot of trial and error. In the end, I kind of wanted to have some sort of colorful lighting. I went with yellow, but I don't know how successful it was to actually make it look like there was another color of lighting. For the background, I tried to reincorporate that yellow to kind of tie it all together. When I color a drawing, most of the time I go in without a plan, but what I do have in mind is that I want all the colors to somehow be a bit cohesive. Going with the galactic theme, I gave the background sort of a moon aspect. I don't know how to describe it, but it was also a good way to add more colors. I really hope the background didn't upstage the main character though. Okay, well, I've made quite a bit of progress with coloring. Obviously I need to touch up a few things, and maybe make the background a bit less patchy, add a bit more shading here and there. But other than that, I think I will be done soon. It can look bad the entire time I'm working on the drawing, but in the end, that's when it really starts coming together. Actually, I think I will add the glasses. It's annoying because I try to get close to the paper when I'm trying to get small details and then my head gets in the way. However, a touch up here and there and a bit more color means that the drawing is basically done. Last but not least, to add the date on the drawing and my signature. I've seen a lot of people make a universe out of their characters, so I feel like the first step for me trying to do that is to name my characters. I'm naming her Ametrine, I'm sure that's not how you say it, which is sort of a multicolored gemstone. And with that, the drawing is done. And of course, I gotta clean up, which is a pretty grueling process because I have to look at every swatch to see where each color goes. Hopefully I can keep the set in order by doing so.